front door for me. Forgot I had it.
Yo, here's your sword, Hans.
Yeah, someone didn't take it. They're like, you don't want to take a man's sword. You want to drink out of the scabbard?
That's sick. Out of this? It's so sick. Wow.
Is it the other way? It's the other way.
Is it the other way? You're right. It is. It's a nice piece.
Thank you.
This piece of metal. Oh, should I
You
put
wanna-
something on my Instagram story? Should I be like, hey, podcast going live?
Just live now.
Are we live right now? Never mind then.
Pain in the ass. You have to like fucking get the link and all that.
Nah, it's okay. You're
Just
right.
look for it.
Find it.
Should we post it somewhere?
Show you. Show you.
All right, I'm just gonna drink. Unless you want to drink out of
I'll drink. If you got the cups, if you got cups, I'll. No, I'm good. I'm good. He's looking.
That's the next purchase.
Oh, glad to see you too. Sorry about your Instagram, man. Pay for verification,
I
dude.
don't know why they want to hack my shit, but they do.
They got money, dude. They know this guy's got money.
They just want to be me.
I love your motorcycle videos. Here we go.
I gotta have better living conditions in all of the world. If your foot is rotting, the head isn't healthy.
That's a great point. That's a really good point, actually.
They gotta use their powers for good. But it's just like a piranha. The human species is like just everyone's just clawing at each other all the way up.
Wow.
It's true.
That's deep. I like that.
It's not deep. It's just sad.
I guess that's fair. Yeah, like it's not the most brilliant of observations, but it is a good one.
I'd like to live in a shared basis of reality.
You live in a perfect communist world.
Well, I'd like to admit what's happening now so we can progress past it.
I like that. That's a good take.
So, what's your stance on the Trump thing?
I have no. I could care less.
You're doing other things?
No, yeah. I mean, my life will go on regardless. I'm a straight white guy.
What are you trying to do?
Lift it. Oh, duh. You just have to
Oh,
lift it
yeah.
up.
I
I'm so
love it.
dumb. I'm so
It
dumb.
might sag. That one is,
It's been known to sag.
yeah.
Damn it. It's all good.
It's part of my power play. If you're struggling with your mic the whole podcast and you can't focus on
Yeah, you're trying to alpha
debunking
me,
my,
dude.
arguments. Your seat is slightly lower than mine too.
Is it really?
No,
That'd be so funny.
it wouldn't matter.
You're a tall guy. You're up there.
Thanks.
You're a better
Um,
athlete than me. I think we both know that.
Well, at basketball, maybe you're better at wrestling.
Maybe I have hand tremors, and so just my dexterity in general is like bad. You know?
Do you think it's good that we play basketball and we know where we are physically? Because sometimes we
Yeah.
get lost in the mental world, and it's like it's good to remember that it's not the end all be all. We
I
could
think-
also just kill each other with our hands.
Well, I think the good part about sports is that it's pretty pretty objective how good. So not objective, but it's pretty obvious
It's a
where
great
you sit.
equalizer.
Yeah, sometimes with comedy or artistic endeavors, you can get lost in the problem with art is that it's subjective, where it's you can be like, well, I may have bombed, but I'm writing better jokes, and you can think these weird things, and people get lost in their own delusion,
Yeah, which is beautiful if you do it right.
which I think can be beautiful. But with basketball, I'm bad. I know that because I shot 8 times and I made 0 of them, and I was open every time.
I feel like to you, making an open shot is the same amount of panic as
Yeah,
a contested shot. So you don't know
yeah,
when you're open or not because it's all just feels the same.
yeah. Well, yeah. Well, I mean, regardless, I'm shaking, so it doesn't help. But I'm maximum nervousness all the time is what I just my
Yeah.
default right have to play at.
Yeah.
But no, I have a lot of fun. I enjoy it,
Yeah, me too.
even if I'm
It
not
can get a
good.
little heated.
I think I do my best on defense. I started playing more aggressive on defense. Someone called me out once.
That's where you can really make up for the difference in skill.
Yeah, that's what I've been
Just by
doing.
being annoying.
That's kind of the whole. That's kind of all that defense is just being annoying.
That's how some people live their life. Just on defense. They never make anything or create anything.
Yeah.
They just get good at being in the way and ruining other people's shine.
God,
You want to have Gatorade White Claw?
I will. You want some Gatorade? Here, you want one sec. Let me empty out more.
So you have hand tremors, and it started adult onset.
Yeah, well, I first noticed it sophomore year in high school. Give me whatever you want. And sophomore in high school, and I was in a welding class, was when it first was noticed. But it's gotten worse. I think it's just like the stress of comedy, maybe
Really?
the
I thought
stress
it
of
was supposed
life.
to be a relaxing life. You wake up at 1.
I do, and it's been nice, but yeah, I don't know why the shaking's gotten worse. It's been bad like the last like 2 to 3 years. It's gotten like picked up,
Hmm.
but I don't know.
Ever since
We're all
Biden's infrastructure plan went into play.
interesting, interesting point.
So you have hand tremors, and that's fine. You're still a human.
That's fine. You're saying it like it's like leprosy. You're like, yeah, I know you're one of these deformed freaks.
You went to the doctor?
I have. I've gone to 4 different doctors about it. Now it's tough because I have health insurance, but I don't want to pay like I don't want to get screwed at like a high specialty cost for a doctor. So I haven't gone in like over a year now. But
Hmm.
I have health insurance. I just don't use it because I'm like
How do
afraid
you
it's
have
not
health
going to cover
insurance?
government. Good old Obamacare.
You got free health insurance?
Yes, I do. Yeah, I make not enough money to have to pay, so that's nice. Or to
So
pay
is
very
it
little.
like pretty good health insurance?
I'm poor enough that it's good, which is nice. But I also have ulcerative colitis. The medication for that is like without insurance, it's like $6,000 to $7,000 a month. So without insurance, I would die. Like that's it's just like it's like one of those things where like it's like I'm a single issue voter when it comes to like health insurance or like
So you voted for
medical.
Kamala?
And I did. I'm a big old dirty lip. You've seen the hair.
The
I
hair.
got dirty liberal hair, I think.
You could be one of those ex veterans or ex Navy SEALs
Yeah.
guys that are like, I'm gonna blend in. I'm
Yeah.
just doing this for a little bit.
Yeah.
I'm
And then I'm gonna go
hiding
back.
the true warrior under this gardener's hair.
Do you think I'm a wow? The word in the gardener metaphor I think about a lot.
Yeah, it's so stupid.
It occupies, I think on every now and again, and I'll be like, it's better to be what is it? You're better to be
Yeah, a gardener, or no,
a warrior in a
warrior in a
garden.
garden than a gardener in a war.
Yeah. I like that. It's like a fun. It's like sometimes it's one of those things. It's
It's
not.
ridiculous thing to think in an all
Yeah.
volunteer army.
But when you word it like that, yeah. I
If
just think it's
there's a
good to.
conscription, if
Yeah.
there's a history of drafts and lord lieges that we have to fight for, then
Yeah.
I think it's good to
Yeah.
be ready for that. But I think it takes something from your normal everyday life.
Yeah.
If you're always living for this thing that never happens.
Oh, I've so that's a good okay. I get what you're saying. I think of it more like abstractly or loosely, where I think it's like it's better to be the way I interpret it is it's better to be like in shape and take care of yourself, to be
Mhm.
physically able, but like to choose to be gentle like a gardener, but to like, like if someone wanted to get in a confrontation, I could.
Yeah, it's good
But
to ramp down than to have to ramp up because
yes,
ramping up
yeah,
is like, can you do it? Who knows? But ramping down, anyone can ramp down.
yeah. Well, I think it's I get behind the idea of like, yeah, yeah, exactly. Like it's better to be like to be able and to choose not to. I think there's
But then
nobility
you
in that.
choke someone out in a subway,
Yeah, and then that's
they
just
die.
that's too much.
What do you think about Jordan Neely and Daniel Penny?
I don't even know what that is.
Okay, Daniel Penny is a veteran who
Okay.
was in the subway, and this guy, homeless guy, was acting crazy. So he
Mhm.
put him in a chokehold,
Damn.
and then he died. That's the, that's the arc.
What a lovely story.
We went through ups and downs
That
together.
was a good one. That was a concise and to the point. Yeah, I mean, I think he's a hero. Thank you for.
Okay, but
I
did you
don't think you
know
should kill people.
the guy that died was a Michael Jackson impersonator? So
That changes things. Were they
I just
good?
think if you're murdering someone, something went wrong, and it's not like
Yeah,
the fucking social system is wrong because that's also wrong, but like something in the day to day, something in your brain isn't right if you're
yeah,
just ready to do that.
yeah. I don't like. I had a friend in college who I don't know what he does, but he was in the National Guard, and he would watch. He came over to my house once and like pulled up on my TV like police shooting people compilations, and this is like a real story. And I was like, what are you doing, dude? And then he was just like, and like it's kind of a gross thing to look up, but it was the way he was watching them, where he was like, "Oh yeah," like he was like, "You shoot that guy, man." And I was like, "That's gross." I was
I
like,
think
"That's
so.
just like the romanticizing of killing someone like
Having
for
an
no reason."
emotional,
Yeah, like
like coming to it.
yeah, him like getting like excited about it, like fucking just stimming there, just being like, "Isn't that so cool?" And I'm like, "No, that's sad and tragic. That you should feel someone died needlessly."
Yeah.
He was watching unarmed
But
people get shot. And
that's what's so
crazy.
great about it is that it's such an important moment. It's not like a normal thing.
Yeah, well, I just the romanticizing of killing someone, I think, is like tragic. I think like some people like, I think like, yeah, like they just.
But isn't it necessary?
I mean, if it was, it sounds like all because someone's spazzing out in a subway doesn't mean you got to kill them. You know?
Yeah, I mean, I think we are from a very weird background,
Yeah.
and I think like some people are closer to it, you know, in their family tree than other people.
You mean like murder?
Yeah, like epigenetic memory. Like if your
Yeah.
ancestors were just killing people for 5 generations, and then it's you,
Yeah.
there's gonna be something in your head that's different.
Well, then go into the army. Go be
That's not
active service.
really a positive change. That's actually might make it worse.
Yeah, I don't know. Be a police officer. Well, wait, no, they shouldn't be killing people, but they do. Yeah, I don't know. We gotta find a profession for the people that are bred to kill.
Violent.
Yeah, we need to have a violence position. You just going.
Well, we have a hammer, and I think that's why Trump got elected, is because a lot of people are like, I have this desire and this ability.
People want to murder people. That's why they
Yeah,
voted for
they
Trump.
want to get closer to that. They want to be able to be in an apocalypse situation.
Oh, interesting.
It's a it's like suicide by
It's like the weird, like
Trump.
it's the weird. That's very interesting. So you think it's like I like that. Like they
It's
were
a death spiral of a culture.
like anarchists. Like I want the system to fall apart, and I mean like actually fall apart.
Yeah, they're proactive about it.
Yeah, I respect that. Game recognized game. I love that.
Yeah, they're
I'm pro
shaping
Trump.
the world and the vision that they see.
The idea of being pro Trump because you want everything to just go terrible is very funny.
Why? I mean, isn't that what it is?
I mean, I don't know. I almost don't understand. No, I don't. I do, and I can listen to people, and I'll like have people that are conservative that I listen to, and I do my best to understand. Um, I understand being conservative. I don't understand Trump. It's almost I don't know. I'm stupid. I'm a big old idiot. I'm a dumb, little, dirty little lib.
Hmm.
Play back my audio in front of me. Are you looking at the comments?
I just want to see if the sound and everything is good.
Is it good?
Think so. Sometimes it's a little quiet than other YouTube videos.
Really?
Yeah.
Taylor, can you hear us? Can you talk, Taylor?
Yeah, I got a mic.
That's so cool. I love that, dude.
Can you turn it up a bit, like to where it goes almost to the red in the fucking OBS?
Yeah. Hey, chat, do we sound cool?
So, what are your thoughts on the Austin comedy scene?
You love, dude. You know what? I think Austin comedy scene rocks,
Hmm.
and I think it's got some of the most explorative and interesting comedy. And I'm like, a year in Austin, I am defensive on Facebook now. And you know what? I don't even comment, but it's comedians from the Midwest. There's someone who's like so plugged into like the Midwest, like markets. All these like comedians in like Ohio and like Illinois and Iowa, they'll be like shitting on like Austin comedy scene in general online. And it's just like these 15-year-old
It's a very
open micers.
exposed comedy scene.
Yeah, and they'll be like,
Everything we do is put online.
I know, and I feel like people will look at just the few big names in Austin, and be like, that's the entire scene. But I think if you're in it, I think you realize like Austin has some of the most creative and interesting comedians. Like Lucas McCrary, Ryer Cameraman, Danny Goodwin, Avery Moore.
Any good ones here?
Yeah, dude, he rocks.
I haven't seen him.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I think he just kind of comes and goes, but he's great. I think we have like a fun alt scene.
Mm-hmm.
Casey,
Yeah.
like Austin's filled with like all sorts of
All
styles.
those southern
Yeah,
frustrated dandies.
yeah.
They're like, I'm not big or strong, so I'm gonna try to be
Quirky.
goofy
Yeah.
in a sea of bullies and jocks.
Yeah, I think so. But I think Austin has both though. And I think people online just like look at it as like a sea of bullies or like edge comics. And I was like, that's not Austin. We have such a fun array. And there's the stage time here is great, dude. I got like I wasn't booked on a show at all last week. I had a one Thursday spot last week, and I was like, oh, I'm just so used to getting like 10-minute sets like just freely. Like it's
With
amazing.
good audiences.
Oh yeah. I mean, dude, I did Maggie Mays yesterday on 6th Street, and that's there's like 9 people in the room, and they were a great audience.
Wow.
I loved it. I was like, this is amazing.
Is that the one right across the street from Mothership?
It is, yeah. The little bar that does comedy shows. I mean, they do weekday shows, and they put me up, and they've been. It's just a beautiful little small room, and the crowds that wander in are drunk and usually down. So
Yeah, I love that room.
I love it, dude.
It's like actual 6th Street.
Yeah.
It's like all the good and the bad.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Well, it was fun. Yesterday I did a set, and some guy, as I was leaving, stopped me. His wife talked throughout the entire set. She just constantly was like replying to me.
Mm-hmm.
And when I left, he gave me $20. And I was like, sick. I was like, hell yeah. I was like, I made it, dude.
It's an acknowledgement of like, hey, I fucked up the show.
I think so. I think I also did pretty well too. I think if I had bombed on top of it, he wouldn't have.
It's like, thank you for not destroying her.
Yeah, because I would look down and I just didn't acknowledge because you don't have to acknowledge hecklers all the time. It has to reach a point for me.
Yeah, most of the time you shouldn't. I
Yeah.
feel like that's right, maybe 60, 70% of the time.
Yeah.
Because they're just asking for attention, and the people that are there don't want you to. They want to see the show as it would have been
Yes.
ideally.
Yeah. Well, I think that's what I did, and I think the husband was kind of like, "Hey, like you don't need to comment out loud at what he's saying."
Yeah.
And I think like once she registered that, it was way better. But she never really registered it. She kind of kept making quips, but yeah, I think you're right. I think dude, I was at a show and this lady made like a few comments throughout the show, but nothing like too annoying. And the last comic or second to last comic goes up and just exploded on her. Just was like, and it was so aggressive. And that's the problem. Sometimes it's more aggressive than the heckler is mean.
Mm-hmm.
And then the comic on stage, I think the whole crowd is like, "Hey, dude, like they came off as a dick." You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, you don't get that from the videos on TikTok. People just see that and they're like, oh, attacking the audience is always the right answer.
Yeah.
So they're always in this, okay, I have to attack them. And then on top of that, I'll be funny. But then people are like, whoa, you didn't have to attack them. They're not there with you on the step number one.
Yeah. Well,
So,
there's this comedian who is known for like their crowd work clips, and I can't stand them because every crowd work clip it starts off and the heckler's going like, "Hey, you're funny online," or like, "Hey, like I wish you were funny." They're proper heckling. They're being like, "Hey, like you suck."
proper heckle.
And so, but here's the thing: every heckling tape of him is him like destroying a heckler,
Uh-huh.
but it's the heckler is always being like, "Hey, like, are you okay? Like this is like you're bombing." You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's why I wish we had the context because if every heckler that he's having, like if he has like 20 of these videos, if 20, I've never had it happen 20 times in 8 years. You know what I mean? If you have people actively being like, "Hey, dude, you suck," and it's happening so often that it's become like your thing is like the clap back to that, then you must be bombing, right? Like I want to see
It's like
I
you
wanna
have
see
a
3 minutes
good,
before.
it's like if you're a good pilot, you don't need a parachute.
Yes, and your whole thing's parachutes. It's like
That should be the name of his album.
all parachutes.
Yeah.
All parachutes
Oh,
just
this
bombing.
isn't working. Ejection seat.
Yeah, that's funny. Yeah, you know, it's funny. I've written jokes where like I have like a cop out line in them, like a way to get out
Yeah.
if it doesn't go well.
And if you didn't laugh at that, that means you're the real.
Yeah. Well, I have.
Okay.
Yeah, well, sometimes you get used to saying it because like even if the joke does well, it gets a pop. But then sometimes you say it and you're like, why'd I even?
Well, that's just how the joke goes now.
Yeah,
It just goes into muscle memory.
yeah. So you got to stop. You got to learn to not do that or rewrite jokes.
Comedy is an art form,
It is.
and through it you can learn about other things. Like sometimes it happens in woodworking. You don't always have to do what you think you have to do.
Do you do woodworking?
Yeah. I mean, I woodworked the drawer, the cabinets in my van.
Oh yeah,
I nailed it to the steel in the van, and then
that's pretty good.
got some wood.
You figured it out yourself.
Yeah,
That's nice.
yeah,
Do you still have that? I know you had it
yeah.
for the
It's
longest
parked
time.
over by this Drinking Bros podcast studio. It's been there for like 4 months now.
That's very funny. Yeah, because I know you got a new car. I was there when you got the, or not there, but
You were there
you
for the
picked me
first
up.
days.
Yeah,
Yeah, I like it. It's smaller. I can fit in things.
yeah, it's nice.
Yeah.
It's more practical than the van. I remember one time at basketball, I showed up and I was like, I just thought it was like the venue's like bus, and then like I saw you walk into it, and I was like, "Hans, why do you have that massive fucking van?"
It's not the most efficient solution,
This is very
but
funny. This is very funny.
it's like a flex. It's like, look, I can drive a van around.
Yeah, yeah,
It's scary too. It's a big van. It could really fuck up something.
yeah. You could really ruin someone's life in there, you know. You could
But
really.
the AC stopped working, so I was like, fuck this.
Oh yeah, dude, get out, get out. You
Yeah.
still can.
I kept fixing it, but AC is like, it's like a long hose.
Yeah, there's always going to be different. It's kind of one of those things where once something starts to go, the rest goes as well.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Like planned obsolescence.
Yeah, I hate it.
You hate
Planned obsolescence.
technology waste.
Yeah, that's what it is. It's funny. My brother he's an engineer. He did a class in college on like materials engineering.
Mm-hmm.
And apparently, I think this is the story. I might be wrong here, but on the first day of class, the professor goes, "Hey, this is materials engineering. We're going to tell you about, different materials." And he goes, "You're going to hate planned obsolescence because you're going to realize that you can make every product last forever in this class. And you're going to get frustrated because you have to realize that we're choosing not to." And like, they're going through like materials that people use instead of like, like nickel or aluminum or whatever, like a superior choice in metals. And he was like telling me like it pissed him off.
Yeah.
He was like, it's like we could have grills that last. Grills are meant to rot. You know what I mean? Like grills are always like rusted and like falling apart. And he's like, because they're designed to do that.
Mm-hmm.
It made him so mad.
Yeah, if we could mass produce like quality stuff,
Yeah.
it'd be better.
That's what I
But
feel about
now, like, if you want a specialty grill that doesn't rust, you have to like get it special made, so there's not a robust system around it.
exactly. That's how I feel about frying pans. I get mad. We could make a perfect anti-stick frying pan, but I would want my roommate. I destroyed it over a year, and he was like, "Well, it's because you use high heat," and I was like, "But it's a pan. It's meant to get hot. They're
It should
choosing."
be a range that it works in.
Yeah, give me a high heat anti-stick frying. Whatever. I get mad. I'm worked up. I'm worked up over frying
Seems like
pans.
a battle you fought before in your head.
Yeah, planned obsolescence, man. I'm on a war with frying pans.
Yeah, I think it comes from you know, a mentality of like we don't really care.
Cultural.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's interesting. That's what I
Yeah, I
feel.
mean,
I feel like that's kind of what's happened with like. I feel the same way of like with like antitrust litigation, where like as a society we just don't care
yeah.
that like companies have gotten so big, but like I think that's like we should.
Mm-hmm.
Like you shouldn't be allowed to make the TV show, be the movie theater, and also distribute it afterwards. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like
that'd be dope.
Amazon's too big.
Yeah. I heard about this case on YouTube about these FBI agents in the 89s or something,
Yeah.
and they caught a bunch of senators for a bribe. They've had like a fake Shaw, and they busted them. And
Really?
now they don't do that anymore because it's too embarrassing.
That's interesting because it was like bad publicity for senators.
Yeah. And they're the ones that pay the bills for the FBI.
Damn.
So we just don't do it. So it's still happening. We just don't know about it.
Damn, that's a tough one. If Trump is going to drain the swamp, he should bring back antitrust litigation. If he's gonna really be like anti, if he's gonna really stick it to the man, that's what he should get after. Listen up, Trump. Donald,
You
go
think
after
he,
him.
you think he wants to change the fabric of the country that bad?
No, I don't know. I don't know what he does. I don't know what he actually wants. I think he's like one of those guys where he's campaigning as one figure, and then he gets in office, he's going to be a different
Yeah,
figure.
he's just gonna play it by ear.
I mean, I kind of hope it's a bunch of false promises. I kind of don't want.
What do you think about deportation of illegal immigrants?
You know what's funny? One of the most vocal Trump supporter I know on Facebook. He does open mics in Chicago. He's an illegal immigrant, and he sells drugs. He's a drug dealer, like full-time drug dealer for comedians in Chicago,
Mm-hmm.
and illegal immigrant. and he's done roast battles for people who've been like, he's an illegal immigrant. Like, it's like documented online. You know what I mean? And he's like, hey, stop saying that. You know what I mean? Because he doesn't want people to know. But he's the biggest Trump supporter I know. And I'm like, dude, you're an illegal immigrant who sells drugs in Chicago. Like, you're the first to go. like
That's so funny.
I don't know if he's just trying to like load his Facebook full of stuff. So like, so
It's
he
the
can.
mentality. Like to be an illegal drug dealer, you have to think like Trump, and then you're like, why doesn't everyone do this? If everyone
Yeah.
did this, and he wants to survive in I don't know, like by skirting the law or something.
Yeah, I don't. I think he thinks that if he sucks up enough, like Trump will be like, oh, never mind. This guy's one of the good ones. Like,
Yeah, if he can make it by doing that, that means there's like some respect that they owe him.
I just think it's very funny that he's like on Facebook being like,
Yeah.
I love Trump, and I'm like, dude, like, you're the first, like, you're an illegal
I think
immigrant
it's
drug
funny
dealer.
to be like, yeah, Trump, you hate illegal immigrants that deal drugs. They're all your fans.
Yeah, they love you, dude.
Yeah, they think like you. They're just you from a different country.
Dude, Mexicans heard him say build a wall, and they're like, build? Like they just thought they had jobs forever, dude.
Yeah.
I don't know.
It's weird how many Hispanics voted for Trump.
It is funny.
But I think it's because we staged so many coups in their country that they're just used to like a strong American. They're like, oh, I know, I'm familiar with this. We just got to go along with this guy.
Yeah, that's funny. And they're used to us like disrupting their government where they're like, come on.
They're like, oh yeah, they're just doing it to yourselves now.
We'll pull the old Venezuela in the US.
Yeah.
That's funny.
Yeah, they're
That's very
traitors. They're like, support whoever is in charge and keep your head down and you'll survive. But it's like,
I don't know.
we can't keep doing that. The buck stops here. You can't. This is the last country that you can do that at.
Well, I was thinking the other day, I was talking to someone and they were like, what is a country if not their borders? You got to build a wall. You got to really define your border. A country's not a real country if it doesn't have defined borders. And they're like telling me on it. And I was kind of like politely listening, you know? And I was like, oh, that's a good point. And then I thought about it and I was like, wait, what other countries have border walls?
Yeah, most countries don't.
I mean, no, I don't think
They might have like one of those arms on the road.
Yeah, that says welcome to, Belgium.
Yeah.
But like imagine if European countries had just like wall, like, there's like a wall around
a lot of
Germany.
countries don't need it.
No.
So
yeah, I was just
why
thinking
is this
about
our
that.
number one thing?
Yeah, why are we so obsessed with like it's a country. It's not like a medieval castle. You can't just build a moat and put gators in and be like, now this is America.
Yeah, like you need a wall around your bank account.
Yeah.
Like you want a wall around all these abstract concepts.
Well, is there another country that has a wall on there? Like I can't think of like
DMZ, North Korea.
Okay, that's a good one. The Koreans. Are we really that hostile towards Mexico though? Is it really like North Korea, South Korea?
Yeah.
Is it really that serious?
That's a crazy thing to think. Like, oh, you want to take it to that level?
Yeah,
India, Pakistan,
Yeah.
China, India.
Does China and India have a wall?
They
That's a
have
really
border
big border.
clashes,
Okay.
and they're not allowed to use guns.
So does Russia and Ukraine, but
Yeah, and they wish they had a wall.
they wish that, I don't know if a wall would have done much.
Yeah,
I think the
not
wall
in
would
modern warfare.
be. Yeah, they're destroying like dams and stuff.
Israel, Palestine has a wall. All these
Really?
countries that you don't want to be. Yeah, I mean they have
Is
a
the
wall
relationship with
country.
Mexico that bad? I think Israel and Palestine has an ever-changing border identity. You know what I mean?
Yeah, they're fluid.
Sorry, or as I should say, Israel. I think it's just gonna be. I think it's just gonna be Israel in 5 years. I think Palestine's done.
It looks like it.
Sorry, hot take.
I mean,
Take.
it's
Not what I want.
you're not saying that is a good thing.
I'm not saying it's a good thing. I'm just saying it's just like the direction that it's headed.
Yeah,
Like I think they're just gonna be like, all right, we're
accurate
done.
forecasts.
Yeah, that's my take. It's not the team I want to win, but if you had to give me $20 to throw down a casino,
So Israel wins.
I'm
There's
betting
no
on the Jews.
Palestine.
Yeah.
What's next for them? Like, are they forever going to be this country that fucking did the last bit of colonialism?
No, they should take Egypt too. They should
I
take.
think that they'll be a pariah. We'll be like, oh, we know who you really are. And then they'll start them on a spiral. It's like bullying someone.
Who do you think they'd go after next?
What do you mean? Israel?
Yeah.
Lebanon?
Oh, really?
Syria?
Yeah.
I don't know what they're going to do. But like countries like that always peter
Interesting.
out because everything's a nail.
Yeah.
So they only have one weapon. Like that's what happened in Japan. They just started attacking everything. They attacked America.
Yeah.
Russia, Nazi Germany attacked
Yeah.
Russia.
They just kind of keep going.
Yeah, they don't know when to stop.
That's interesting. Well, they did that. They did the 7-Day War, right? Was that when they got all the way into Russia? No, all the way into Egypt. I don't know why I said Russia. They went all the way down into
Yeah.
Egypt.
They used to have the Sinai Peninsula,
Yeah,
which apparently is bullshit.
that's wild.
Nothing is there.
Never been.
Yeah, don't go.
I like their food.
Egypt?
Israeli
Like what?
hummus. I think that's an Israeli food.
I think you can get hummus from other places.
I know. Yeah, ethically sourced hummus. Without the lives of women and children in its hands. That's why it's red. It's not the peppers.
Yeah.
All right. Too much. Too far.
But it's such an unforced error for Israel. They could have just chilled and they would have been fine. We would have all loved them. Now
Yeah.
they did this. Now you get to know what it feels like to be fucking,
Yeah.
Armenia or something.
They got fresh out of World War II and the Jews really went after it. But this is going to get demonetized.
Are you worried about censorship in comedy and media?
That's a great question. No. No.
Well, you just talked about getting demonetized for being slightly
Oh, that's a good point.
anti-Zionist.
That's funny. No, I don't think cancellation is. I mean, a handful of comedians have gotten canceled, but I think it's just standard career ruining stuff. I don't think it's anything new,
Mhm.
really. I'm trying to think of
Yeah.
like.
There's just a little more power to them, which I think
I do think it's funny that I think
should have happened.
the comedian who I think was like actually canceled is Carlos Mencia, which is funny that Rogan stole a Mexican's job.
Is the first cancellation.
Yeah, it was Mencia.
Yeah, I mean
And he
the
still
power of
tours, but-
social gossip is a real thing. Like you should
Yeah.
respect that.
Yeah, for sure. But I mean, like, I don't know, like stuff's going. Like you can say, like the word retard. I used to never say it. It's so bad.
You
Dude, the other day,
think it's just because where you live?
I was at a Starbucks and the lady messed up my order and she was like, "Fuck, I'm retarded." And I was like, "I'm tipping you 30%."
At a Starbucks, that's the last bastion of.
I was like, "Dude, she said it." I was like,
Yeah.
"Dude, we've won, dude. The R word's back."
That's like a little New York in every city.
Yeah, Starbucks.
Mm-hmm.
It's a
Like a
little
little embassy,
safe space,
little liberal haven.
Got the little mermaid, little green mermaid is blessing you,
Run to a fucking Starbucks when you're getting chased by rednecks.
They can't go in, they won't do it. It's like that in a Prius.
Yeah, it's like you have to have a pronoun to get in.
You have to be able to name 3 pronouns. Name 3 pronouns. Them.
Yeah, they ask for your name and your pronoun when you order your drink.
Do they really?
No, they should.
It'd be
Like,
funny.
And your pronoun, sir? And then they explode.
I've had that happen before where I met someone who was like presenting, like, non-binary. And I was like, "Hey, my name," and I went out and I introduced, I go, because I didn't know the formality. So I go like, "Hey, I'm Matt, he, him, and you are," and they were like, "Why would you do that?" And I was like, "Oh, and then, but they were like they, them, like they were like,
Yeah, I am, but that's kind of insensitive that you asked me.
yeah, they're like, "Oh, you just think," and I'm like, "Well, you're presenting that way." So I was trying to be nice.
What, do they have a handkerchief?
I don't know. I didn't know I just remember.
Or are they just gay? Because gay people aren't.
It was in Chicago. I was at the Lincoln Lodge when it happened. I was in like a green room at the Lincoln Lodge. There's this comic from out of town, and I don't remember their act at all. Didn't watch it, but I just remember being like, all right, this one's a tricky one. You're like, I'm not sure what you are.
Actually said your pronouns in an introduction.
I didn't know I was trying because it was like this show, and like everyone in the green room was like kind of like
Liberal?
super woke too, and I was just like, man, I really don't want to mess this one up. So someone was like, "Oh, you got to meet."
Xander.
Yeah, Zenith or whatever. And I was like, "Oh, I'm Matt, he, him." And
He, him.
I don't know. I just thought that was the right
I've never
thing.
done that.
Well,
I've
that's
never
'cause-
had to.
Well, I hang out
skirted
with
around it.
all the non-binaries. I'm friends with all of them.
A lot of them are very artistic.
Yeah, some of them are really good at what they do.
Yeah.
Good at making tattoos or whatever.
They're good at comedy, but they have no drive. They lack the T to make it a career.
Fuck, that's like right on. That's like, fuck. Yeah, I know exactly the type. That's very
private
funny.
comic that you can't name.
That's very funny. I can name some. I'm thinking of
No.
it. I'm not gonna name. I'm not gonna name them. But there's a trans comic in Chicago I think is very funny who always frustrated me with their lack of work ethic. Where it's like it was always like, you're so good, you should be the biggest thing in comedy, and then they just weren't.
It's weird.
It's frustrating. It's disheartening.
Yeah, it's what I wonder what that is when you're just so compassionate that you're just compassionate to yourself and you're like, oh, you deserve a day off. Just eat pizza. Like they have no like trainer. They need a trainer. What we need is liberal artists trained by conservative comics.
Yeah, conservative teach them work ethic.
They need a fucking structure. That's the thing, is like these fucking liberals are the ones that like want to get rid of religion and fucking the 9 to 5, but they're the ones that would benefit from it the most.
But then they feel bad when they lose like a sense of community and identity, and it's like, well, that's what religion was. It was a sense of
Yeah.
community and identity. And then you're like, society needs to provide community identity.
They're
I'm like,
so sensitive to being used incorrectly that they can't jump on board a system that's
Yeah.
going to use them improperly.
that's really interesting. Well, I mean, and you understand, like, I can be empathetic enough and understand like why they would be hesitant, you know, because of history. But it is funny how it's gotten to a point of like to their detriment. Because like I think more people are like on board than they're not.
Mm-hmm.
Or like, or at least like polite. And yeah, it's interesting. It is funny though how like some of the best comics I would argue are like woke comics. And then when it comes to just like putting in the work for whatever reason, they're just like allergic to it. That's what agents and managers are for.
Yeah.
That's kind of what they're for, is to find someone who's got the talent, who just doesn't want to do the booking or whatever.
Yeah. The panda bear zookeeper.
Yeah, dude. But I feel like agents and managers don't take risks anymore on comics.
No, they just want people that are already made.
Yeah. Which I think is both good for comedy because people can self-make themselves. I think that's really cool.
Yeah.
But I think it's bad for comedy because really interesting, unique acts are getting buried at like the bottom or the middle because like they're really good and they're like, everyone would be like, oh, that's my favorite comic is that guy. But for whatever reason, they just can't break because like, you know, they just don't have like the old conservative comic drive to like post online every day.
Yeah.
Or like they're like too much of an artist, or they're like, I don't want to put any of my material out because I'm saving it for a big special.
I think the mind that it takes to create something is very soft and nurturing and caring, to let your
Yes.
mind go into different directions and to be forgiving of your mind when it goes in stupid directions.
Yeah.
And so they are more, you know, just more cautious and I don't know.
But
Just
as
different.
a result, they just don't take like the risks they need to break through independently.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's a great. Yeah. You hit the nail on the
So-
head there.
Huh?
You hit the nail on the head there.
Well, thank you, man. I just, you know, just
Pretty good.
notice patterns of comedians just fucking failing.
Well, yeah, and sometimes they're great comics, but it's yeah, I think agents and managers need to take risks. They need to go out and find talent and then make them instead of waiting for someone to be made and then signing them, which I know is like, oh no, they have to take risks, but like, isn't that kind of the job? Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, but now it's just a factory. They don't have any artistry. They just pump and churn. They just want to use the numbers and get the short-term gains instead of like building a Jim Carrey.
Yeah. Yeah. Jim Carrey's a great example of someone who like
Super weird.
super weird, who just needed like that push
Yeah.
from someone. Damn. Now I'm sad.
Well,
That's kind of what the mothership is. The mothership
it's
does
amazing
that.
that people still make it in the system.
Yeah. Like,
It's like it's in an intentional state of disrepair.
well, you know who I thought she has great work ethic. Do you know who Sarah Sherman is?
Yes,
She's on
as
SNL.
Squirm. Yeah,
Yeah, Sarah
Sarah
Squirm.
Yeah, she's from Chicago.
Yeah. I remember when she was like just doing super weird stuff. I remember like everyone in Chicago loved it. And we were all like, Hell Trap Nightmare sketch show. I was like so sick. And it was just one of those things where it's like, someone's got to pick this up. It's like, this isn't meant to go mainstream, but someone has to like take a risk on her. And they did, which was like cool.
Yeah,
But that was one of those where it was like, she was so like inevitably good and like interesting, I guess, and funny. And where it's like, there's only a matter of time. Like, but it was one of those things where like, can she do it herself? And she did. But it was it's a rare mix of those two, of someone who's like, I think like really like taking big artistic swings, but also like made it
funny.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think there should be more infrastructure if we care about something. And it takes like something that's not just like privately funded. I think you have to be like a giant corporations like NBC that can take the risk, or you have to be
Yeah.
like a government agency. Like in Canada, they have like JFL. That's like government funded.
Is it really?
Yeah,
That's awesome.
yeah.
There's some really great Canadian comedians out there.
Yeah.
They're I found this guy Brent Butt. I think his name was Brent Butts. He's this Canadian comedian who I like found online who's like only big in Canada, and he has a show called like Corner Gas that people love, and like, but it's the show's only in Canada, and it's like a beloved. It's like the Friends of Canada, I guess. I don't know, maybe that made a bad comparison, but I met a Canadian. I was talking to him about this guy. I was like, I found this guy on YouTube, and he was like, yeah, he's such a big deal, and I was like, not in America, like no one knows.
Brent Butts.
Yeah, funny name, but he's a great comic. Like writes very technical jokes and is very silly, but
Yeah.
just never only like the biggest deal in Canada. Has a TV show in Canada, blah 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 blah, but just a Canadian, I guess. Interesting.
Just a Canadian.
Just a Canadian guy, not even a real
Just a
person.
fucking Canadian.
Yeah, we should build that part.
I think that there's so few of them that it's amazing that any of them are good because it's like fucking Wyoming.
Canada. Well,
I'm
I
just
think
kidding. I don't know.
I think cold weather makes people funnier. That's a hot take. I'm like a Midwest diehard.
Yeah.
I talk a lot of shit about the Midwest only because
Boston.
that's cold.
Yeah.
New York's cold.
You got to be inside. If you're
Philly.
outside and it's hot, you're like, oh, God, let's get out of the fucking sun. If you're cold, you're like, hey,
Yeah.
get out of my way.
Well, my grandma would always tell me. My grandma would always say that her parents, so my great grandparents, were the funniest people because, especially like in Iowa, and they're like farmers, like way out in the middle of like actually in the middle of nowhere.
Uh-huh.
And so like they'd be like, so in the wintertime, like you'd just get snowed in for like, a month at least every year. You'd like barely be able to leave the house. And so it's like you would just put on, she would say like growing up, like they'd put on like family talent shows all winter in their house, like every day. And you'd like kind of like quietly go in your corner and like work on like a skit or a sketch, and you'd perform it for your family. And she was like, and that's how like we all got like my parents were always so funny because they always had like years of doing that. But it was just because, and then maybe like your neighbors would come over and you would do like you would like literally entertain them, like
Yeah.
be like, here's a joke I wrote. So it's weird, but I think that's like a very common practice. I think that's why there's like really funny people up north, especially used to be because of like
Because you're trapped indoors.
yeah. So like you
You're
just
in
figure
a
out.
room, trying to conserve heat. You're close together.
So you can just, if you're funny, like it makes winters better.
Yeah, it keeps you warm.
Yeah, I didn't realize that. My grandma was telling me about that. That's why history is important. Talk to your grandparents.
History?
History. Her story.
So what do you think about Nicholas Fuentes?
I don't even know who that is. I know
He's
Fuentes.
a neo-Nazi.
Oh, I'm not a fan.
And
I don't like this guy now.
when Trump got elected, he was like, now we control your body. Your body, my choice.
I saw that tweet. That is so cringy. Oh,
Like, it doesn't work on any level.
No.
It doesn't even threaten
No.
properly. It's like, that's what you think?
Because it's funny. I think sometimes the left will like frame conservatives as a certain way when they're not like the left will be like, conservatives want to control my body. And it's like, no, they just, a lot of them, you've talked like an actual conservative, most of them that are pro-life are just pro-life because they think you're actually killing babies. Like they feel like religiously inclined. They think that the second a sperm meets an egg, life begins, right? That's what they believe. Nothing's going to convince them otherwise, right? Nothing, I mean, it's fine. There's no scientific, there's no conversation we had. That's just what they believe, and you can't change that. So they think you're killing babies. That's like, most conservatives, I mean, that are pro-life are like, we got to stop murdering innocent babies. That's what they think.
I don't know.
Well, at least in the people that I've interacted with. Now, I've never met a conservative who's like, oh, I'm pro-life just because I want to control women.
Yeah, I mean, they're so liberal pilled. Like, they know the talking points about liberals, and they're just using that against them. They don't come up with their thought independently. They're just reacting to what the liberals are throwing at them.
But to say your body, my choice is crazy.
Why?
It's just like antagonizing. Like, you know what I mean? Like it doesn't do any good for anyone. And
it's not an end goal. There's no end goal to that. Like you're just pissing them off. There's no consensus.
Yes.
There's no like building towards a better future. You're just fucking with them.
Yeah.
As a joke.
I hope it's a joke. I think it would be crazy because liberals are always like, this is what conservatives think. And then you talk to a conservative like, I am this way, but that's not how I got there. Like I've never met a conservative that's like, I just want to control women's bodies. But the idea of like like that, like actually being like what's going on is like terrifying. They're like, I hope that's not what they think.
Well, the fact that even 5% of them think that is reason enough to not let them get their way.
Yes. Yeah. No, that's why, because it probably is. That probably is like around 5%.
I think like what you're saying, like they actually think it's a baby is a part of it, but I think deep down they also just don't care about women that have lots of sex.
Yeah. I mean, I was watching like the election on C-SPAN, and because I think I love their coverage. It's just people calling in from every part of the country, and just they'd say their opinion, and then they would. I thought it was really interesting way of covering it. And some guy came in, and he was like, "Women got to keep their legs shut. That's what I think. I think that's the common."
Yeah, there's so much of that.
And
What were you wearing?
yeah, and he literally was, and I just like, and, you know, and it was all over like the political spectrum of people that were calling in, and that was one of the guys like, "I'm excited. I think it's good. I think that's best for the American family. Women got to keep their legs shut." And I was like, I mean, at that point, it's not a political issue. It's a social issue.
You want to control culturally what people do. Like this is where I want culture to go. I want everyone to not have sex and just go to
Yeah.
a picket fence, and it's
Yeah.
ridiculous because if we all did that, like what they're fighting for is to make the whole world into a fucking old country buffet.
Like,
That's what Chapo has said. Chapo Trap House. They're like,
Yeah.
that's what you're fighting for and dying for is to just make it a strip mall. Like that's not worth dying for.
yeah,
But it's like they feel threatened. They want to use cultural warfare to
Yeah.
make people like them.
I think you kind of hinted at it earlier, and I think there is that. I don't think people are as pro-Trump, and I think there's people that will say that they're pro-Trump, but I think deep down what's actually going on is that they're just anti, like you said at the beginning of this, like they're just anti, like they just want chaos, like they just
Yeah.
want like, I'm not pro-Trump, but I hate the system. I hate that the CIA is using Diddy and Epstein to get, celebrity leaks.
Uh-huh.
I think it's weird that the government's doing that, like, and just everything else is going on, like government inefficiency and whatnot. But like, I think people are just like pro, like start over, and this is like the way to cause the most chaos that's going to get us there faster.
Yeah.
Or maybe
That'll
I'm wrong.
Just trust the system. You're almost there. You just got to keep voting for Trump.
Yeah, dude, give him a third term or a fourth term, I guess, because technically it is. I love that Trump never lost, that he's technically is on his third term right now. I have people in my life that think that, and I think that's fun. I think that's really fun. That Trump's on his third term.
That's
So
people
funny.
are wasting their brain.
It's crazy, dude. I thought we were gonna steal the election. I thought the libs were gonna come together and steal the election. I was so ready. So what do you do now? Does Trump go, wow, elections are fixed now?
He's like, not really interesting anymore.
Yeah.
Next thing.
The left didn't even try to complain. I
No.
wish they would have. Just so they could know what it's like to have fun.
Yeah, I mean, it is fun
I don't know.
to break your brain and do funny things with it.
Yeah.
So, do you think that influencers are,
You asked the most. I love these questions.
what do you think about like fitness influencers and how they're all weird? What do you want to drink? You want more Gatorade?
No, I'm good. I'm good. I'm fidget. I fidget. I'm always playing with something. Fitness influencers. I love these questions. You'd be like, Israel, Palestine, Trump, fitness influencers, Austin comedy scene. I never know what to expect, which I like. Fitness.
Anyways, so what are you doing tonight?
Nothing, man. I'm going to a concert.
Oh, what one?
Bystander. You know Taylor Gorman?
No.
He's a comedian, and his fiance works at Mothership. She's one of the
yeah, I know.
waitresses, and he's in a heavy metal band.
That's his band?
Yeah, Bystander, and we're going
Where
to
is
see
he
that.
playing?
Come and take it live in Austin. There's a group of comics that are going.
Nice.
He put on his story. He was like, DM me for $10 tickets, and I was like, I live with Brent Reed and Andrew Tarr, and I was like, hey guys, let's go.
Oh, you live like down south?
Yeah, East Riverside.
I used to stay there.
Really?
Yeah. Well, when I first moved here,
Nice.
when I first visited here, they have a
Really?
nice pool, right?
Ultera?
The apartment complex.
Yeah. I think I saw you.
It's huge.
It's massive.
Yeah.
It's so nice. I think it's like a resort. The pool there is stupid nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I hit up them, and I think we're going, and I think they hit up people.
Mm-hmm.
Come on out.
Yeah, I'd love to.
Come on by, man. I think we're doing a little pregame at 6.
Okay.
At our place. I'm gonna be the sober driver, so you just don't have to worry about parking.
You don't do drugs.
I don't do drugs. No
So what are you gonna do?
drugs. No, I'm gonna try to enjoy the concert sober. I'm trying to drink less.
So are you gonna just drink Red Bull or coffee, or
I'll just drink water.
you're gonna drink? You ever like eat a meal and it like affects how you take in reality? It's like a drug. Like you're on a bacon sandwich right now.
Okay, I'll have a beer when I go there, but I'm gonna drink considerably less than everyone else.
Hmm.
I don't know. It'll be fun. I'm excited. Should be a good show. We're gonna fuck shit
Yeah.
up.
I'm excited for you.
Are
I
you a
might
metal
show
fan?
up.
Do you listen to metal?
No.
Me neither.
I
I want to go as partially as like a cultural experience.
feel like that's the next thing because I think because of how conservative the country's gone, everyone got into country music.
Yeah,
So now I think the next step is like metal.
I think it's emo and then metal.
Uh-huh.
I think emo.
I think we're just gonna turn full white.
really hell
We're
yeah
gonna just become like the most
yeah.
white country ever.
My Chemical Romance is back.
New
That's
songs, or are they playing the hits?
I don't know. Taylor, do you know?
Not sure.
I don't know why. I looked over. I saw the guy with tattoos on his legs and his arms, and I was like, that guy knows My Chemical Romance.
My Chemical Romance.
Yeah, I don't know. It'd be cool if they did like one or two new tracks, but played the hits.
They're so good. Their songs are like fundamentally good songs.
Yeah, I mean, like Black Parade's one of like the best, like top to bottom, like
So
albums, or I don't know.
operatic.
Yeah. When I was a young man.
It's
I
such a
love
good
it.
song. Yeah.
Yeah, I
It's
think that
just
whole
like
album's
a
great.
little too, I don't know.
It's an anthem.
too emotional.
Really?
Yeah, they're like languishing. They're like crying out.
But okay, I get that. I think, but that's the kind of music I want to see live. You know what I
You
mean?
just want to see a white boy break his heart on stage.
Yeah, dude, just screaming. You know what I mean? Like right. Yeah, like get it out, dude. Like I want to, really put your heart on. Woo!
It's like the Eminem of pop songs.
Black Parade.
Yeah.
Yeah.
White people they just
I love
feel
it, dude.
so deeply.
I love it, dude. I can't wait. I'm a white person. I don't care. I don't know if you guys can tell. Certifiably Caucasian.
What's your guilty pleasure?
I don't know if this is what you want to. I like ice cream. Is that a dumb one?
Ice cream.
Is that you? You
How
want
much
something
of it do
worse?
you eat?
I, I don't know. It's not that I like ice cream. It's like really bad ice cream. So like they have like the plastic gallon
Do
bucket
you like the
of ice cream.
Spider-Man
Yeah,
and the
I get
cone?
I get just cheap, flavorless.
Yeah,
a
that's
bucket
not
of-
ice cream.
No,
That's like a popsicle or
they legally can't even call it ice cream. It's like dairy treat or whatever.
a.
That's what I eat, dude. I eat that. I have
Damn.
that in the freezer.
I think you should start doing drugs.
Yeah, that's what everyone says. Everyone wants me to do drugs.
I think it's healthier for you than eating ice cream truck popsicles.
Yeah, I love it, dude. I could eat, dude, if I could, I'd eat ice cream sandwiches 3 meals a day.
Ice cream sandwiches feel like real food.
They're so good. I
Like
love them. God, fuck.
it's like a burger.
It's my favorite food. Growing up, I'd like mow our neighbor's lawn or whatever,
Yeah.
get money, and I'd just go and get ice cream sandwiches like every time. I would just get money. I'd go to the grocery store and,
That's the height of luxury for you.
oh yeah, dude. Especially like small town Iowa, I'd bike down to the grocery store and then I'd put it in my backpack and I'd come home and most of them would be melted.
Yeah.
But I didn't care. I loved ice cream. Yeah. Ice cream sandwiches and watermelon. My top two. Big two.
Watermelon's solid.
Watermelon's so good. Especially like in the summer. If you're like ever do like,
It's juicy.
yeah. That's so.
Water. Pretty much water.
But there's bad watermelon's bad watermelon. But a good watermelon is like fucking so good. A good watermelon I could eat forever.
Well, watermelon is all like where on the how far away from the rind you think is ideal. Like
Oh, I'll eat a lot of the rind. I like
yeah,
the rind.
but if it's like too fresh, if it's like past fresh, then you just get closer to the rind.
Yeah,
But if it's perfect, then you just eat all the way a
that's a good point.
little bit up.
What happened to your finger? Can I ask?
I smashed a mug and
Whoa,
it cut my nerve.
whoa. When was this?
This was 3 or 2 Sundays ago.
Were you like partying, or you just like?
Yeah, I was partying.
That's so cool.
Thanks.
Thanks. Last time we went out, I blacked out that night.
For Halloween?
Yeah,
That was fun.
I had a lot of fun, and then I don't really remember how I got home. I was
You
walking.
were at my house, right?
Yeah, I was at your house, and I
There was a little drug use involved.
no comment, and 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 I left with Jesse Burlingame, who
Yeah.
I think's great, and then
Okay.
I
That wasn't
know,
in question.
yeah, and then I don't remember. I remember I left them and we peed in like an alley, and then he was like, "All right, see ya," and then I looked at my phone the next day. Apparently, I get an Uber scooter, and then I went to the Wendy's next to Creek in the
Oh my
Cave
God.
at
That's
like
a
at
that's
like
a hike.
4:30 in the morning. I went there, and then I remember like I woke up and I was like asleep on the concrete, and then I walked to my car, and then I slept in the back of the
You
car,
fell asleep on the street.
like on the sidewalk next to a church.
Dude.
Halloween costume too.
Well, I wasn't in a costume. It's funny because I wore a costume like every day that week, and like I'd go and like no one else was wearing a costume, and then Hans is like, we went out, and he came up and he's wearing a costume, and I was like, the one day that week I didn't wear a costume. People
Yeah,
were
and I
all
was
in
like, you
costumes.
gotta wear it every day.
I
It's
fucked
about
up,
dedication.
embarrassing, man. And but yeah, I was just asleep on the concrete, and then
That is crazy.
yeah, and then I slept in the back of my car for like an hour, and then I drove home.
How long were you on the sidewalk?
I don't know. I literally have no idea. Dude, I called my old roommate in Chicago at like 5 in the morning, and we talked for like an hour.
You don't remember it?
Don't remember a single bit of it. It's in my phone logs, and like he texted me the next day about like, dude, great conversation. I love the support. It's like, you're a great. He was like very nice. He's like, you're a good friend. I was like, hell yeah, dude. So I must have had been like a really wholesome phone call.
Yeah.
I was like,
Call them in your moment of need.
I was like, really cool, but I don't remember any of it.
You don't have to remember everything.
Yeah,
The fact that you did it is good enough.
I haven't blacked out in nearly 2 years. Anyway, that's why I went 2 weeks sober after that.
After that day,
Yeah,
damn.
yeah, that was the day. I'm done. So
Yeah, that's scary. You black out, that's scary.
oh,
You got to
it's
take
almost
care of
terrible.
yourself.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, that's what I mean. I don't handle alcohol well, and it's not like I'm not like a violent or like a loud drunk, but I just like I get drunk really easily. I think like
Yeah.
it doesn't take a lot for me to get like blackout.
Hmm.
I think like 4 or 5 drinks in, I can. If I don't eat, sometimes I don't eat, and I'm like I've been cutting weight recently. Not that I need to, but I've just been getting skinnier. And I think when you cut weight, I think you get drunk like super easy too. So
Is that what you call it when you lose weight? I'm cutting weight.
yeah, have you ever heard that phrase?
Yeah, for fighters that are
Yeah, cutting weight.
dehydrating themselves.
Yeah,
But you're just not eating as much.
yeah, which I think's bad.
There's a UFC this Saturday and Netflix.
Yeah.
Logan, Jake Paul, whatever, versus
Paul.
Mike Tyson,
That'll be sick. Who's your money on?
the younger man that's fit.
Yeah. Why? Why are we doing this?
I just hope that he doesn't get knocked out too bad.
I honestly think Mike's gonna win.
I would love Mike to win. I think
Yeah, I
everyone
want it
wants to
so
see.
bad that I don't think it's gonna happen.
I know. I think he's old. I just think he's like maybe 10 years ago, I'd be like, come on. But I think he's so old. I want to be competitive and interesting. I'm on the road then. I'm in Mankato, Minnesota. I'm gonna miss it.
Mike has all the same trainers from like 20 years ago or whatever, and they're
Really?
all watching him lift and stuff right now, and they say it's the strongest he's ever been. Like the
They
most
have to
weight
say it.
I know, but like they're just like surprised that he's lifting heavier.
Dude,
than
I
he
wanted
did
Why? Because he's on
20 years
steroids.
ago.
Hey, don't get me wrong. I would love Golden Mike Tyson. We want to see Tyson murder this guy, or at a minimum have it be like a really interesting fight, and then Tyson fucking lands a big one on him. You know, like that would be sick. But the
I'm
Paul
hoping
brothers-
for a Connor versus Floyd Mayweather type situation.
yeah. But I think the Jake Paul's like a real fighter. I would argue that he's done enough fights that
Yeah.
like I think he's a real fighter. I think he's done enough. I've seen enough where I think this guy he's taken a few big
Jake
hits.
Paul.
Taylor's furious
Are
right now.
you confusing Jake and Logan Paul?
I'm Jake. Jake's the one who does all the fighting still. Logan
No, they
did
both
like 2.
do.
Logan doesn't
Yeah, well,
really.
like Logan's in like the WWE now or something.
Yeah,
but
he quit doing actual fighting.
Logan's who fought Floyd.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but Logan was never good. Jake is like actually like a good fighter, I think. He's so
Oh, we'll
mad.
see.
He's fuming.
Let's see. I just think it's gonna be surprising, whatever happens.
He's raging, dude. He's furious. There's steam coming out of his ears.
Well,
Train
people
whistle.
need to have mastery over fighting because if you don't know shit about fighting, that means you're vulnerable to getting knocked out. So
Huh.
people take their predictions and their knowledge of fighting very seriously.
Yeah, which I love. I think
Yeah, a goofy guy like yourself that doesn't care about anything. You love it when people invest too much and they're weak.
No, I think it's no. I love sports. I'm a diehard sports fan. Fighting is just the one sport where I think it's so. I think it's like one of those things where it's a shame that they only really fight once. But I think if you could see like 10 matches, I think it could go either way more often than not. Because I think sometimes people just get a lucky hit in, you know?
Uh-huh.
Especially if you're going like 12 or how many rounds they do. It's like sometimes people they just get a good one and that kind of levels it. But I don't know. It's fun. I like it.
Fighting?
It's a classic sport. Oldest sport in the book.
I thought that was prostitution.
That's not a sport. That's just the love of the game,
Holds his
baby.
Yeah, I
mama's
do it.
job.
You're competitively
I
whoring
put on
yourself out.
pads. Come on.
Like, so,
You can make them do anything within reason. Why not just have like a hiking fantasy?
yeah,
Just have a girl bend over in front of you and just
yeah. I mean, you know what's funny? That sounds like a. Is that a thing? A hiking fantasy?
there it is.
Retired quarterbacks. That's what Brett Favre's doing. Brett Favre's.
I think they take it so seriously they don't want to mess
Yeah,
the wires in their brain up.
that's so funny.
But if there's an ass just bent over in front of you, at some point you're gonna be like, put something in there.
Why not? If you paid, you paid. That's just good business.
I mean, they're wearing the tightest pants possible, and they don't wear a cup.
Yeah, I mean, it's got to be someone's got to be into it. Someone's at some point derived pleasure
Yeah, a
from
lot
having
of
their hand there.
homoerotic activity in the NFL.
No one talks about it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
slapping butts.
slapping butts. I don't like, dude. I hated that as a kid. I would get like, I would get mad at people.
You're getting your butt slapped a lot as a kid.
I did sports. I was in
Other
every
kids.
sport. No, but when like adults would do it, like the coach, like
Yeah,
I just
that's called molestation.
yeah, I just didn't. I remember as a kid being like, no, or like I'd put my hand back and be like,
But isn't that your Western Puritanism showing?
yeah, no, that is like that is the Iowa in me.
Your body is like a fucking sacred little
it's a temple,
walled
dude.
off little thing.
I believe that your body is a temple. Your body's the Lord's temple.
But no, I think it's
Don't let a 50-year-old man slap your ass.
I think that's part of life.
Getting your ass slapped.
Yeah, I mean, you can't go your whole life and never get your ass slapped. That'd be sad. You got to know what it's like
Yeah, I was
to not fully use your body. Every part of it gets slapped at some point.
Yeah, that's funny. Hey, that's just good love making, baby. That's romantic.
I mean, I think it's a very personal part of the body. It kind of makes you feel like
Yeah,
your whole body has been slapped.
yeah. I just don't like. Oh man. Yeah, I just remember as a kid. I remember when coaches or like teammates would, I'd be like, nah, not really. I didn't like it.
No, it doesn't feel great. I mean, it should come from a place of camaraderie and love and not from like, I get to touch butts today.
Yeah, I don't know. I also like in middle school when people do like ball taps, you know, and be like, Shh, you do that? You ever do that? Was that
Yeah.
You
Midwest?
liked that?
I hated it. I would get like more mad than other kids would. It was like that. That was like you ever have that one kid where you make like a your mama joke and he's like he takes it seriously and he's like, don't you ever make fun of my like. That's why I was with ball taps. I was that kid for that. I was like, I would get like way too mad. I'd be like, don't you ever fucking like, just didn't like it. Didn't like it. My body, my temple.
And you're not supposed to like it. You're supposed to give in to not liking it. You need to feel that feeling of not liking it.
Yeah.
It's good for you, for capitalism. It's a metaphor for life.
Wow. We're not gonna take it. No, we ain't gonna. All right. Anyone else? I love that.
Do you think the problem with the butt taps and the nut taps is that you weren't feeling like a close kinship with these people? Maybe if you're in the military together, you'd be more down for it.
No, because I had brothers, and we had. I think my older brother probably did it. I just didn't like. I just didn't like being touched.
That's a
But,
weird thing
yeah.
about you.
Oh, okay.
It's very strange.
I don't think anyone likes it. I just think I just got particularly like more mad than an average person would.
Yeah, I don't think anyone likes it. Even
Yeah.
if you're like
You don't.
you're
No
like
one wants it.
a sub or a bottom, like
Yeah.
you still don't want people slapping your ass randomly.
Yeah.
You want there to be some sort of,
Yeah.
mechanism of
A bond.
yeah, it's like the border.
No, you have to break down that metaphor.
So who is telling you that a country needs borders? What ridiculous person is just like, we got to draw a circle around our country
I
to know it exists?
just a friend. I don't want to out them.
But it's like fucking you're never like, oh yeah, America, and you think about the border. You think about like cheese and
Yeah,
cows.
I just don't. Cheese and cows, baby. Dude, I love America. That's what it is. I
Who
don't
doesn't
know.
love cheese and cows?
I just don't think it's. I think it's overplayed. I don't think it's as serious.
It's such an old trick. It's the
Yeah.
oldest trick in the book. Like, hey, the immigrants are coming. We gotta fucking do this thing that will help
Yeah,
rich people.
and then it never does.
Yeah, like, was it ever a problem? Are there a lot of illegals coming in now that's fucking everything up?
I just think building a wall is such like a silly like. Most of them are entering the country legally, and then they're just not leaving. Like that's most of the time what
Yeah.
happens. Like, so the idea of
But
like
even if they don't build the wall, they still want to deport people. They just want to make
Yeah,
it
that's fine.
miserable.
So
They just want, like, they're so mad that they want to punch something.
I'm okay though. If you yeah, and the billionaires always hit it on immigrants. I get it. I just think it's such a funny thing. Like the idea of like building a physical wall to me is like just a waste of like time and energy and like bad for like the environment. Cause like now there's like animals that are gonna be like, what the fuck? There's a wall in the middle of the field I used to run across all the like, what the fuck? Why is there a wall here? No, it
Yeah, I
can't be
mean,
regular deer shit, you know?
it'll create a rift. It'll be like Australia down there.
And like
You'll get
ecosystems.
kangaroos.
Yeah. So what do you do? Make a hole so deer or whatever, you know, coyotes can
hole?
get through? No, that's gonna be weird. So now you're just gonna like, because that destroy the whole point of having a wall. So like, it's just bad for the environment. Like, it's just
Okay, but I don't think
it's like
that's
a
the
waste.
major concern.
Yeah, I think it's very. I don't know. To me, it's like the idea of like building a moat is like,
It's like we couldn't figure out our problems verbally and politically, so now we have to build this giant thing because we can't talk to each other.
yeah, it's stupid. Yeah, I don't know. I
And
just
it
think
can
it's
all
very
be
silly.
averted. You're an efficiency guy. You don't like to see physical effort be exerted without
Yeah,
need.
yeah, that's how I feel. It's also just like to me, I think it's very like,
What if we got to go down there? What if there's something happens and now there's a fucking wall there?
yeah, it just seems like such like an inconvenience for like if you have
Yeah.
to do work there. I don't
And
know.
also, I think we deserve illegal immigrants for what we did to the Southern Hemisphere.
Just Central America,
Yeah.
neoliberal
That's the
politics,
whole, like, they wouldn't be coming here if we didn't fuck them up so hard.
and we did, but
Yeah. And now we just don't want to pay for what we did.
yeah, that's very funny. That's a good take. I like that take. Like the government interference, and like
Yeah, we were getting
constant
fucking
pushback.
strawberries in December. Like, you don't think that comes at a cost?
Yeah, no, I did. Don't even get me started. Oh man, as someone who I have two bachelors in business. One was emphasis in analytics. So I took a bunch of like econ courses in college, and it's very frustrating to have to explain to people who like because like the problem with like a lot of things, right, is like surface level is always like very good at like an econ 101 level, like wow, tariffs are great. But if you take econ 201, then you realize tariffs are a complicated thing that are usually bad for international trade, and international trade helps everyone in general
Uh-huh.
in doing things that don't
Yeah.
provoke or help international trade tend to not be good. Like a global economy helps
like
everyone out.
Yeah, it's like like a dam. Like
Yeah.
you're stopping the flow of goods across the world for no reason.
Yeah, it's like when Russia went to war and like oil and wheat prices because they control all the wheat within Europe or whatever, and it was just
Ukraine.
like and it's like oh now it's like hurt everything, like random things prices went up, and it's just like I wish Russia wouldn't fucking start this war with Ukraine because it's like now everything costs more, And you're like, and that sucks. And it's because like just fucking Putin.
Because we fucking hurt Putin's feeling by not letting him into the the world order after the
Yeah.
the
we should have
Berlin Wall
just we
fell.
should have just let him in, do his thing.
Yeah,
But yeah, I don't know.
we couldn't.
But global
too
economy, I
powerful.
want a global economy. Everyone should want a global economy. I think it's weird when people are like anti, like we'll just do everything in the US. And I was like, yeah, but it's so much cheaper to do it elsewhere in the world. Like the cost of consumer goods is going to go up. Like things that affect your day to day, my day to day life. Like, yeah, strawberries in winter. Like now those are going to cost 3 times as much, and that's going to suck.
But maybe that's good. It should be expensive. We should be eating things that are in season.
I agree. I just don't think the quantity that we can produce as a country, it says the nature of our size. I think there's limitations on the land, right?
Yeah.
Like, and it's crazy, like bushel per acre for like any sort of crop. Like corn is the easy one to point to. Is like gone up. This is the Iowan in me. like we can get
Corn talk with Matt Banwart.
yeah, like the efficiency of like the productivity of like an apple tree over the last 50 years is insane. The amount of apples you get per tree and the size, quality, and like insect resiliency of the apples over the last like 50 years in corn and like soybeans and any like major crop, probably rice too, like has changed so dramatically over the past like 50 years.
Yeah.
Like the amount of corn we get per like acre of land is like probably up like 20%, like not even 20%, 20 times
We got
what it
better
was.
crops thanks to Monsanto.
Well, we just get more corn per space of land, but there's a cap to how much land is in the US and that land that can be used for crops. And
Well,
do people want to go and
we probably make enough. California.
sure, probably if I had to guess, if there's a part of the country that's like, well, we got to get more out of our crops now, I'd probably be like Kansas or like Washington, because that's where like a lot of the fruit comes from. A lot of
Apples.
apples and pears come
Well,
from like Washington, Oregon.
I think there's something to be said for having a resilient supply chain system because,
Yeah.
like, during COVID, we didn't have masks and fucking gowns and shit.
Yeah.
So I think it's good to, build some of this, have the ability to do it, to make our system robust,
Yeah.
and then also trade on top of that.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
Yeah,
I'm
our
just,
system right now is run on a shoestring. Like,
yes,
it's all like floss
but I like that shoestring.
but it's like unnecessary. It doesn't even help you. It helps the CEOs and it produces inferior quality products.
Well, I mean, I'm excited to see how it plays out. I'm glad that we're doing. That's one thing I'll say about Trump is I think it's interesting and like hopefully he does follow through. I'd love to see. I'd love to see. It's like how much can we milk from the American economy and worker. I want.
Okay.
I want to see. I want to see like the stress test. Can we produce enough fruit or strawberries?
Well, we gave them what they wanted.
Yeah.
And
So we're
in
gonna
four
find out.
years, they're not going to be that much better.
I don't
So
think.
then they're going to be like, oh, okay, well, what else can we do?
Yeah. If I was a betting man, I don't think it's gonna work. But I'm excited that we're doing it. It's kind of like it's like well, this could be tragic and terrible.
What are we
but,
doing?
like his whole thing is like he's pro tariffs. Like he wants to stop or slow down like international trade significantly.
And that's going to fix what?
Well, as a result, things are gonna have to be made in the U.S. They're gonna have to be made domestically instead of internationally. So
So we're going to have to build everything in 4 years, all the factories that
in
are
the
in
U.S.
China.
Yeah. Well, I think it's probably gonna be a slow rollout on the tariffs, but his whole thing is he's gonna try to slow down international trade, and as a result, it's gonna create more jobs in America, help the American middle class. Is his theory now?
But you were all pro world trade and the efficiency of
Yeah,
getting things from other places.
because we get them for cheaper. So I
Yeah.
think what's gonna
So
happen
we're just
is
going to turn into a hermit kingdom. We're going to be like a fucking Amish colony while the rest of
Yeah.
the world advances past us.
but it also makes you more volatile to like, let's say like, for example, like the avian flu, like bird flu, right? Like if one of like the 4 producers of American eggs has an issue, because there's only 4 companies that make eggs. If one of the 4 has an issue where like the 800,000 eggs they produce are all bad because of a place at one of the 4 factories they produce eggs, or they sell them to farmers, it's like, well, then the cost of chicken goes up significantly. But if you have an international global economy, then it's like, well, it's fine. American chickens are bad, and we'll take some hit, but we'll just get chickens from Mexico instead because we have
Yeah.
a global economy. So it makes you more volatile when it's all just you. Does that make any sort of sense?
Isn't it more volatile to be connected to the world that you can't control?
I am a comedian, but I am explaining international trade on a podcast.
I don't think tariffs are the magic bullet solution to fixing what's wrong with America.
No, but here's the thing. Here's what Trump does very well though, is he's taken like a complicated like international trade issue. Like I can sit here and like really break it down, but that's long and boring, right? Trump will just give you the Econ 101 answer of just like tariffs we don't have to import from other countries. We'll produce it all in the US. We'll get more jobs. He says it like that. He says the three-part thing. But the reality is like
the workers are going to get paid shit.
Yeah.
Any profit is going to go to the super mega wealthy.
Yeah. And the cost of products is going to go up, which is going to affect the worker, not the company owner. So it's like now you're going to have to pay 5 times as much for strawberries in winter. And you're going to be like, well, this sucks. I wanted a strawberry in December. Now I can't. And you're going to be like, well, this sucks.
So what are your thoughts on
if it works, it works.
Bernie Sanders?
I don't know. I think he also does the same thing. I think he does the same thing Trump does, where he oversimplifies like economic principles.
You think Bernie Sanders does the same thing as Trump?
But on the inverse side, one thing about Bernie Sanders,
That's not true.
I think Bernie Sanders' heart is in the right place, as opposed
so
to
is
Trump.
his mind. It's worked in other countries,
smaller Scandinavian countries where they have China, in Germany.
In every modern country that exists.
I would prefer Bernie Sanders over Trump. I'll say that. I think it'd be fun.
But you're just like trying to both sides of this thing that are completely different. And you're like, oh, it's just the left and the right. But it's just like what it is now. That doesn't mean that it's like a 50-50 chance that both are correct.
Well, I'll tell you. So my predictions, if Trump does what he's been saying he's going to do, I don't think it's going to work out. But what I will say is I'm pro, let's find out.
I'm not. I'm like,
we don't have a
do what
choice.
works. This is a country. It shouldn't be run like a fucking experiment.
Yeah, in a perfect world, we wouldn't do that, but it's too late. So now I just have to be like, oh, I hope it works. You know what I mean? I think it's weird to be like, I hope Trump's presidency is miserable and terrible. I don't want my life to get miserable and terrible.
Hope. It's about knowledge and
Yeah, but it's too late. He already won. So it's like, so I just have to now. I have to be like, well, I hope it works.
What you know, and you're just like, oh, that could work too now. Hopefully.
Well, I know. I still believe. I'm still skeptic. You know what I mean? I'm still I'm still doubtful it's going to work, but I hope it does. I don't want ill will on the country.
Hope? I mean, it's good to have hope. Yeah, hope, but it's like
I don't want the country to collapse.
It's not like it. Like you individually, you don't have to change what you think and feel just because the country is doing something.
Wait, okay.
Just because Trump wants the tariffs doesn't mean you have to be like, yeah, that could work. You could just think whatever you want to think. It should be independent of what Trump is going to do.
Economics is ultimately, though, theory based, right? Or
it's not economics. It's just his attitude and his whole approach towards it. When has that ever worked in anything in your personal life?
Never. I don't think it's going to work, but it's too late. So you just have to. I want the best to happen. You understand what I'm saying?
You want to think something so that it makes you feel better and helps you operate in a more positive way.
I'm not changing my stance on what I think. What I'm saying is this is my predictions based off of what I know, right? And I'm not. I have a friend, my childhood best friend. One of my best friends is literally an econ professor for a living in Colorado State. Now, I think he probably has a better understanding of the world than I do, especially this and topics like this. This is what I know. I don't think it's going to work. I stand by that. I do not think it is going to work. But I would prefer it worked because I don't want the world to be a bad place. Do you understand?
But that's a short term. That's if it works and Trump is doing everything awesome, it goes on for a little bit longer and then the flaws come out later. So isn't it better to hope that it doesn't work so that we learn our lesson and we recover faster?
That's what I think is going to happen. I think that's what's going to happen.
Isn't that a more positive way to view the world?
I don't want the world to be shitty for. You know what I mean? I'm just sitting here. I'm trying to be blindly hopeful for no reason.
Okay.
If it doesn't work, and hopefully people will learn and will go back. But the problem is people don't learn.
Didn't you say that you thought Reagan was a good president?
No, I did not. You're putting words in my mouth. This guy I think Reagan was one of the worst presidents.
I thought that was the best American politics.
Dude, didn't you say you love Vladimir Putin? Putting words in my mouth now.
I mean, you gotta respect him. He's a gangster.
Didn't you say Reagan was your favorite
What?
president?
Well, you want to have a negative Russia? You just want to think Russia's a failure and he's just gonna ruin the world? I'd rather think Putin's a positive guy doing the right thing.
Oh, now I see what you're doing. Now I see what you're doing. No, that's not what I'm saying. You know what? It's not what I'm mad now. I'm mad. I'm crossing the arms.
That's good. Yeah, I mean, I think Americans are very golden retriever like.
Yeah.
Like, oh yay, a ball.
I don't know. I would love there to be world peace, but it's not gonna. I mean, you need sanctions on countries to stop them from doing stuff.
Yeah, like Iraq, how we killed 500,000 children.
Yeah.
Sanctions.
That's a bad one.
Chat. What you drinking, G? I drank a White Claw.
How many people are watching live right now?
10.
Yeah, that's pretty good. I'll take it.
We're at like an hour.
It says the microphone volume is too low.
I fixed that way earlier.
Oh, thank you,
All right.
man.
Guys, buy tickets to my shows in Ankeny this weekend, Ankeny, Iowa.
What are your true thoughts on cottage cheese?
Underrated cottage cheese, low key, gas as hell. I said gas as hell, and I've never seen you word. Is
Gas as hell.
that a thing? That's
The skibbity.
That's skibbity. Sorry if I have such W riz.
So, Gen Z.
I love him, dude. Taylor's done. He's like, dude, you're an hour 20. You can end it. Taylor's checked out.
Should we end it?
I think we should.
Okay.
I think we solved all the world problems yet again.
I'm glad that you're so positive.
Someone's got to be.
Thank you, guys.
All right. Bye.